Imagine a time long ago when great sheets of ice covered the northern lands and the air was crisp and cold. The world was wild, filled with the sounds of wind, mammoths, and crackling fires. In this ancient world, humanity's most incredible journey began. This is the story of the first people to set foot in the Americas. They were not explorers with maps, but families, hunters, gatherers, and storytellers, driven by the need for safety, food, and a better future. They followed herds, read the stars, and passed down deep knowledge through generations. Their journey was not a single expedition, but a slow movement across a vast, changing landscape. The climate shifted, glaciers advanced and retreated, and new lands opened up. For these people, change was a challenge and an opportunity. Their ability to adapt was their greatest strength. They ventured into lands no human had seen, armed only with their wits and will to survive. Picture vast skies, herds stretching to the horizon, and towering walls of ice. This is not just a story from history. It's a fundamental part of the human story. It's a testament to the spirit of exploration within us all. Their journey shaped a continent and the destiny of generations to come. It all began with a single step into the unknown. Let us try to see the world through their eyes. Let us remember, every great journey starts with courage. And so, the dawn of a new world began. The journey began across a land that no longer exists, Beringia, a vast bridge connecting Siberia and Alaska during the last ice age. This was not a narrow strip, but a sprawling subcontinent, a cold, dry grassland teeming with life. Herds of mammoths, bison, and wild horses roamed these plains, sustaining the people who lived there. Beringia was a homeland, not just a corridor. People built shelters from bone and hide, huddled around fires, and told stories under the Arctic sun. They mastered survival in a harsh environment, tracking animals and making the most of every resource. Beringia forged a tough, resourceful people, ready for the journey ahead. As the earth warmed, glaciers melted and seas rose, swallowing Beringia. The land bridge disappeared, leaving its people with a choice: retreat or move forward. They chose to move forward, stepping into the unknown. In doing so, they left their lost world behind and entered a new one. The gateway to the Americas was closing, but a new chapter was just beginning. Their courage would shape the future of two continents. Another theory suggests a different route, by sea along the Pacific coast. Imagine a rugged coastline, a narrow ribbon between ice and ocean. Early people may have traveled south in small boats following the kelp forest highway. Kelp forests, rich underwater jungles, provided abundant food: fish, shellfish, and sea mammals. These coastal pioneers were mariners, skilled at fishing, boat building, and navigating treacherous waters. Their tools were crafted from stone, bone, and shell found along the shore. Ancient coastlines are now underwater, but archaeological finds on islands and coasts suggest early human presence. The Kelp Highway may have been one of the first, and most important, routes into the Americas. The sea offered a path of plenty, even as glaciers loomed inland. The story of the first Americans is as much about the ocean as the land. Another migration story is the journey on foot through the ice-free corridor. For much of the Ice Age, North America was sealed by two colossal ice sheets. As the climate warmed, a narrow valley opened between them, stretching over 1,000 miles. Imagine walking through this corridor, walls of ice towering on either side, a raw landscape of gravel, rivers, and lakes. At first it was barren, but life soon followed: mosses, grasses, and herds of bison and elk. Hunters followed the animals, braving the harsh environment. For years, this corridor was thought to be the main route for the first Americans, but new evidence suggests people were already living south of the ice before the corridor was habitable. The story is more complex. Some arrived by coast, others by land. Both routes likely played a role in populating the Americas. The corridor became a secondary highway, joining those who had already made the coast their home. The migration was not a single path, but a web of journeys. Each route added to the tapestry of human movement. The Americas were settled by many paths, not just one. How do we know this story? The first Americans left no written records, but they left echoes in stone. Their tools, finely crafted spear points and blades, are signatures of their presence. The Clovis Point, once thought to mark the first Americans, was found across North America with mammoth bones. But discoveries in Texas, Chile, and beyond reveal even older sites. At Monteverde in Chile, archaeologists found wooden tools and hearths predating Clovis by thousands of years. These finds revolutionized our understanding. People arrived earlier, by different routes. The evidence shows multiple migrations, not a single wave. Some came by coast, others through the corridor, each bringing unique skills and traditions. The story of the first Americans is a mosaic of journeys, not a single tale. Stone tools and ancient campsites are the clues that let us piece together this epic saga. The past speaks through what was left behind. The first Americans entered a world of giants, megafauna far larger than today's animals. Woolly mammoths, mastodons, giant ground sloths, and ancient bison roamed the land. Predators like the saber-toothed cat and giant short-faced bear stalked these herds. For early people, these animals were everything: food, clothing, shelter, and tools. A single mammoth could sustain a family for weeks. Hunters worked together, using intelligence and cooperation to bring down massive prey. But this world of giants was fleeting. As humans spread and the climate changed, many megafauna vanished forever. The reasons are debated: climate, hunting, or both. But the result was a transformed landscape. The disappearance of the megafauna marked a turning point in American prehistory. Only fossils remain to tell their story. The first Americans adapted to a changing world as the giants disappeared. Their survival depended on ingenuity and resilience. The world they entered was wild and dangerous, but they endured. The legacy of the megafauna lives on in the stories and bones they left behind. The journey into the Americas was a test of human ingenuity and adaptation. The first peoples faced a bewildering variety of environments: Arctic tundra, mountains, rainforests, and deserts. In each place, they learned new rules for survival. They discovered edible plants, the best stones for tools, and the habits of unfamiliar animals. Innovations like the atlatl, a spear thrower, gave them an edge in hunting. They crafted shelters and clothing suited to each climate, from fur-lined garments in the north to woven fibers in the south. Adaptation was a constant process, a conversation with the land. Their creativity and learning were their greatest strengths. They became part of the landscape, not just passing through. Their journey reminds us our true power lies in our ability to adapt. South of the ice, the first peoples found a world of incredible richness and diversity. 2 continents, from Arctic to tropics, lay open before them. In a few thousand years, their descendants reached the southern tip of South America. This expansion was careful and deliberate, small groups moving into new lands, adapting as they went. Rivers and coastlines became highways for exploration. In each region, they created new cultures and ways of life. Imagine their wonder at seeing the Grand Canyon, the Amazon, or the Andes for the first time. They named the land, learned its secrets, and wove their story into its fabric. Their dispersal laid the foundations for the great civilizations to come. The journey across the Americas was just the beginning of a new chapter in human history. The story of the first Americans is a testament to the human spirit: courage, ingenuity, and resilience. These pioneers loved, dreamed, and explored just as we do. Their journey is written into the land, connecting us to a deep and profound past. Though the world they knew is gone, their spirit lives on in their descendants and in the drive to explore. The desire to learn and understand is part of who we are. Let us be inspired by their courage and perseverance. We honor their memory by learning about our ancient history and exploring the world around us. Visit a museum, read a book, or walk in a wild place. Imagine the world as it once was. By appreciating our shared past, we better understand our place in the story of life on Earth. Their journey reminds us, every great path begins with a single, hopeful step. The legacy of the first Americans endures in all who seek, explore, and dream. The story continues with us.